Hey, Flo here. So I'm going to try to do some more programming on the Bible website thing. I don't know if I'll get much done. I just felt like trying something. It's weird. I must have bumped my camera. Okay, I guess I should test chats. Let's see. Cool, that works. I don't think party works. No, it does. Never mind. Maybe I think it's noise that doesn't work. Yeah, noise doesn't seem to work. Let me try popping it out. Yeah, that's right. Need to get, try to get that fixed. So just noise is not working, I guess. Noise is not so noise. Okay. I think we're good. Good enough. Okay. So let's see what we got here. I don't really know what to work on exactly. So many different bugs and things I could work on. One of the things I kind of wanted to get going is having this scroll horizontally when the audio Bible's playing. But I have something that just came to mind. Let me check this here. Let's see, I haven't looked at this stuff for a while. Okay, so it's not just me. Apparently there's... I thought... Okay. So we should be able to... Well, how do I fix that? I need to tell these people on Discord or GitHub that they have an error here. Check these other links. It's actually TTS, not TIT for these links. Let me see if it's the same on this one.
Titus 1.
That's a pretty easy fix.
Titus, chapter 1. Paul, a servant of God, and an apostle of Jesus Christ, for the faith of God's elect.
All right, let me, I'm going to do that real quick. Let me see if I can log into GitHub or something. Okay. That's weird. My microphone just maxed out. Doesn't happen very often. I have a hard time getting it to max out. Blah, blah. I don't know why it did that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, that's one thing. I can't really solve that. That's more of a, the team that maintains this data has to fix that. So, so currently I was noticing, because I've been listening to the New Testament quite a bit lately, just whole books, several books at a time, just kind of let it play continuously while I'm doing stuff. And it always stops on Titus. I hadn't really looked into why. I kind of assumed it was some kind of link issue, but I just hadn't really dug that deep yet. So on the book of Titus, the audio Bible does not work. There could be other books that have a similar issue, but I haven't tried to listen to the entire Bible from start to finish, so I'm not really sure. I guess I could probably hack a temporary fix until they address that, but it seems kind of pointless because they'll fix it pretty soon. But I could just like put a very specific if statement. If link contains TIT, replace it with TTS. But I don't know. I don't really like doing that stuff. So I do actually have one other place where I do that though, for the Book of Psalms. Like let's see. So in here it says Psalms with an S, but when you click on one of them, it makes it Psalm 1, Psalm 2, and so on, instead of Psalms 2, which is grammatically incorrect. So I actually do a manual replace of Psalms with Psalm. I think Proverbs, I mean, this is all personal opinion stuff. I think the Psalm thing is pretty universally accepted, but Proverbs is a little bit up for debate because each chapter of Proverbs is composed of many different proverbs. So I think, in my opinion, it still makes sense to say Proverbs 1, not Proverb 1. So that's just my opinion though. It sounds really weird to say Proverb 1 because there's actually like many different proverbs inside each chapter. Okay, so let's see. What else can I do? I can end the stream. I did something. I don't really do anything, but there's so many things. I guess I could try to do the horizontal scrolling thing. That would be cool. So as far as I know, unless something like got unfixed since the last stream, this should scroll a column at a time. It's working here. Let's just check some other place. Let's see. Number 6 or 7 is pretty long. I don't remember. Number 7. Okay. Yeah, it's working flawlessly. There's only just one slight, I wouldn't even call it a bug, it's more of a discrepancy at the very end. There's like 2 or 3 pixels where if I push again it goes like just a little bit further, but I don't really see that as an issue. Because I put the 5 pixels of padding on each column, it, even when it has those little alignment errors, it doesn't chop off visually the text at all, so I think I'm pretty satisfied with that. But so now the next step is to, when I am playing a chapter, to have it scroll horizontally, because it works vertically but not horizontally right now because I kind of broke it. Let me see here. Okay. Oh, I think I'm going to take a break. I know it's awkward, but I got these apple sauces out as a snack, and I'm just going to eat them. So I'm just going to sit here and eat So I'll turn my music back up and mute my microphone for a few minutes. I know I could play some Bible thing, some chapter view. Because Titus was not working earlier today, I skipped ahead to 1 Peter. I think I've listened to all the way from Romans to Hebrews and James, yeah. So everything except for Titus, because Titus wasn't working. I listened to Romans through James several times in the last few days. I kind of just get stuck on one book for a while, but I've listened to all those, so I'm kind of on 1 Peter right now. Weird little bug that sometimes the audio player gets hidden somewhere and I don't actually know where it is. I think I can fix it by sort of resizing the browser or something, and that's something I should fix. Maybe if I remember, I'll try to fix that.
First Peter chapter 1. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the elect who are exiles of the dispersion throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, chosen according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, and sanctified by the Spirit for obedience to Jesus Christ and sprinkling by his blood. Grace and peace be yours in abundance. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. By his great mercy he has given us new birth into a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, and into an inheritance that is imperishable, undefiled, and unfading, reserved in heaven for you, who through faith are shielded by God's power for the salvation that is ready to be revealed in the last time. In this you greatly rejoice, though now, for a little while, you may have had to suffer grief in various trials, so that the proven character of your faith, more precious than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ. Though you have not seen him, you love him, and though you do not see him now, you believe in him and rejoice with an inexpressible and glorious joy, now that you are receiving the goal of your faith, the salvation of your souls. Concerning this salvation, the prophets who foretold the grace to come to you searched and investigated carefully, trying to determine the time and setting to which the Spirit of Christ in them was pointing when he predicted the sufferings of Christ and the glories to follow. It was revealed to them that they were not serving themselves but you when they foretold the things now announced by those who preached the gospel to you by the Holy Spirit sent from heaven. Even angels long to look into these things. Therefore, prepare your minds for action. Be sober-minded. Set your hope fully on the grace to be given you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. As obedient children, do not conform to the passions of your former ignorance. But just as he who called you is holy, so be holy in all you do. For it is written, "Be holy because I am holy." Since you call on a Father who judges each one's work impartially, conduct yourselves in reverent fear during your stay as foreigners. For you know that it was not with perishable things such as silver or gold that you were redeemed from the empty way of life you inherited from your forefathers, but with the precious blood of Christ, a lamb without blemish or spot. He was known before the foundation of the world, but was revealed in the last times for your sake. Through him you believe in God, who raised him from the dead and glorified him, and so your faith and hope are in God. Since you have purified your souls by obedience to the truth so that you have a genuine love for your brothers, love one another deeply from a pure heart. For you have been born again, not of perishable seed, but of imperishable, through the living and enduring Word of God. For all flesh is like grass, and all its glory like the flowers of the field. The grass withers and the flowers fall, but the word of the Lord stands forever. And this is the word that was proclaimed to you. 1 Peter chapter 2. Rid yourselves, therefore, of all malice, deceit, hypocrisy, envy, and slander. Like newborn babies, crave pure spiritual milk, so that by it you may grow up in your salvation, now that you have tasted that the Lord is good. As you come to him, the living stone, rejected by men, but chosen and precious in God's sight, you also, like living stones, are being built into a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood, offering spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. For it stands in Scripture, "See, I lay in Zion a stone, a chosen and precious cornerstone, and the one who believes in him will never be put to shame." To you who believe, then, this stone is precious, but to those who do not believe, the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone, and a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense. They stumble because they disobey the word, and to this they were appointed. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession, to proclaim the virtues of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Once you were not a people, but now you are the people of God. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. Beloved, I urge you as foreigners and exiles to abstain from the desires of the flesh which war against your soul. Conduct yourselves with such honor among the Gentiles that, though they slander you as evildoers, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us. Submit yourselves for the Lord's sake to every human institution, whether to the king as the supreme authority, or to the governors as those sent by him to punish those who do wrong and to praise those who do right. For it is God's will that by doing good you should silence the ignorance of foolish men. Live in freedom, but do not use your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Live as servants of God. Treat everyone with high regard. Love the brotherhood of believers. Fear God. Honor the king. Servants, submit yourselves to your masters with all respect, not only to those who are good and gentle, but even to those who are unreasonable. For if anyone endures the pain of unjust suffering because he is conscious of God, this is to be commended. How is it to your credit if you are beaten for doing wrong and you endure it? But if you suffer for doing good and you endure it, this is commendable before God. For to this you were called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example that you should follow in his footsteps. He committed no sin, and no deceit was found in his mouth. When they heaped abuse on him, he did not retaliate. When he suffered, he made no threats, but entrusted himself to him who judges justly. He himself bore our sins in his body on the tree, so that we might die to sin and live to righteousness. By his stripes you are healed. For you were like sheep going astray, but now you have returned to the shepherd and overseer of your soul.
So that's something I don't really know how to fix. When a verse is cut in half by a column break. I've already mentioned this on stream, but I don't really have a way to have it like switch columns at the exact time where it breaks. But I'm hoping, like, let's see, I was just thinking about something I was supposed to work on, but now I'm distracting myself. I'm hoping, though, that if I do the scrolling right, the currently read column will always be on the far left, so that even if it does break to the next column, it will still be visible because it will be the second column. So I think that will just sort of work itself out. So I don't think that'll be an issue as far as I know. But there was something I was just talking about earlier that I was going to do, and I don't remember what it was. I knew I'd forget. I have to write notes. If I don't write notes, I forget everything. Oh man, I've been working on like a couple other projects off stream. One like a business website, and oh my goodness, I've been using WordPress, and it's so frustrating. Yeah, it's very annoying. I don't like WordPress anymore. It's kind of the fault of the theme that I'm using, the WordPress theme, the way it handles CSS and stuff. So I could technically hunt around for a different theme, but I find that to be an extreme annoyance to try to find free themes that are any good and that I can trust will be there like in a year or two or just any time in the future, because any plugins or themes that you install in WordPress, if they aren't maintained properly, will make your site explode later on when there's like a system update or like a WordPress update. And if they change anything, it could just make your site break apart, and it's really frustrating. That's the main reason I don't like using WordPress, but man, I've been struggling with it lately. Oh, it's cool. I guess a little praise report, since I sometimes do vlogs on my stream. I got to meet with some pastors this week. I'm not very outgoing, but I like to meet pastors. I've been mentored by a lot of pastors in the past, so I feel pretty confident in talking to pastors. It's just something I've done for many years, and so I arranged to meet with the pastor at the church I visited like the previous Sunday, and so we just went out and got coffee. I don't drink coffee, but yeah, we just got something to drink, and that was cool. The cool thing though is there's actually more than one pastor, and all of the pastors came. I was like, whoa. It was kind of intimidating, but I think I survived it somehow. It's just funny because I'm a massive introvert, and I'm like surrounded by all these pastors. Like, yeah. Anyway, it was I was really blessed by that, to be able to meet with them. I didn't make it to church today though. I don't know, just kind of overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed really easily these days, because I don't hang out with people hardly ever. Like I literally don't have conversations with human beings ever. Like I text my friend and my mom occasionally during the week, but I don't like call them on the phone, and I don't talk with people because I don't go to town or go out much, and so I've kind of lost my ability to have conversations, so I get kind of nervous easily, and that's kind of the reason I had a hard time going to church this morning. I just felt like, there's so many people there. But yeah, I need to get over that at some point. I really wanted to go. I just felt kind of anxious, I guess. I don't know what it is, but and then there's like that expectation, like, oh, I just met with the pastors, so I better go or something, and I'm just like, oh, I can't handle it, so I didn't make it today. Let's see. I wish I could remember what I was gonna do. I was gonna fix something. There's a million things I can fix, but that one thing I just mentioned earlier in the stream, I wish I could go back and watch my own stream. But, I did watch two sermons or church services today, so that kind of made up for not going. But Not really. Like, it's just not the same. I think you can watch as many sermons online as you want, but it's not the same as, like, going to be part of a church, like, in person. Oh, shoot. I can't remember. I guess I can work on the scrolling thing, but there was some little thing that I said earlier. I should work on that, and I already forgot what it was. Oh, I know. It was this audio player getting made invisible. I don't know. I don't really want to work on that. I also need to work on the CSS of this audio player. I'm using, like, Flexbox, and the buttons just, I don't know. Sometimes Flexbox does really weird things. That was weird. I guess if I right click on it to bring a menu, it acts like a permanent left click. That's interesting. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Anyway, the sizing, like you can see this button here, the close button, it has like a pixel or two on the top or bottom that aren't being filled properly. And then even though I have Flexbox, like align items center and all that, all the proper stuff, like depending on the device, like it looks pretty good here. I think it actually looks perfect. But on like a phone, well, actually not entirely perfect. This button over here, all those dots, you can tell that it's up higher than the middle. Actually, a lot of them probably are, but it's sort of not that noticeable, especially when it's small. Like, to my eye, that looks pretty good. I mean, it's not something that I would nitpick, like the vertical alignment of the buttons or icons. But for some reason on a phone, like the CSS is interpreted differently, and they'd look way higher up, which is annoying. It's still forgivable. Like I could just ignore it, but it's kind of annoying. See, that looks weird. See, when I highlight the eye, it's all sorts of misaligned, but anyway, I should try to fix this one now. It's the most standout one. Okay, so what do we got here? I hate, there's so many different ways to align font related stuff. Like you can either add equal padding to top and bottom, which doesn't really work because if the item that you're adding the padding to is a different size, then it won't line up. So I don't recommend that way, but line height is another way to do it. And then yet another way is to do like just height something, like just the element's height, and that might be the best way to do it, but it doesn't seem to work. Some of this finicking or tinkering or whatever around a CSS can just get maddening. Like I'm pretty good at CSS, like I wouldn't say I'm a master of it. At one time I was a master of it, because I used to do this full time, and I excelled especially in CSS, but that was like 10 years ago. And so I haven't done this for so many years, and they've added quite a few things to the specification that I'm not that familiar with. So I have to like kind of just play around with stuff like everybody else. I don't have it all memorized anymore. But I think I'm gonna have to just kind of muck around with this. Probably use height. It might not be display inline. Oh, it's display flex. I see. So apparently flex or height on 100% doesn't affect this flex thing, I guess. Actually, I don't really know why it doesn't. We got padding on it. Okay, I'm just going to rewrite all the CSS for this. Line 1652. I think I need to get rid of some stuff. Like there's probably some conflicting CSS rules. Let me see if I can get rid of that watching notification. I like people to be able to lurk without being noticed. I don't like websites that tell me who is watching. I used to have that disabled, and I thought that converting everything to Linux and stuff, I didn't re-enable all the same settings. So many settings in social stream.ninja. It's ridiculous. Let's see, what would that be called? Because they have a search now. I always forget there's a search. That would be called... I don't know. I don't know what that would be called. Wait a minute. Why isn't that stuff showing here? I don't get that. Let me test my chats again because I don't get that. What? Sucks. Social stream is not working as expected here. I think it's something I did though. Like I didn't fully set it up properly when I switched browsers. It's kind of a big ordeal if you like have to switch to a different browser and you have like all this stuff set up. It's not like an easy process to get it going again. All right, let's try that. Why it's not working? Oh, I have to do it on the pop out. Okay, that's obvious. Do. don't understand why the messages weren't showing up before in my separate window, but whatever. I don't know. Probably did something stupid. Appears to be working now. Oh, wasn't watching the emoji wall. I want to make sure that's working too. Probably is, but since I wasn't watching the screen, let me check that real quick. Man, Kick, their chat thing is so worked. Okay, good, that's working. I'd like to make those bigger someday, but I don't really want to mess with it right now. Be easy to do, but don't feel like it. Might even be a built-in way to do that. Let me check. There's a thing to make them twice as big, but I would just make them way bigger. Oh, actually, it just has a scale equals something. Okay, then I can probably make them whatever size I want. I didn't even ever look at that. Let's see, I don't even know what scene that's on in OBS. Let me check. It's probably on my alerts and overlays. Scene. Sound's gonna go away for a second here. Alright, let's try that, see if they're bigger now. Sweet. It's much better. That was easy. I kind of figured there was a built-in way to do it, but I just hadn't actually looked at that all this time. I would have done that a long time ago. Actually, they're kind of too big. Let me make them a little bit smaller than that. I have so many scenes. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'm just distractible right now. I don't really know what I want to work on. My brain hasn't really been in the coding game super strongly. Like, I'm coding a lot of stuff recently, but I'm not doing the code a lot myself. Like, I've been using AI quite a bit, so I'm not like actually brushing up my skills that strongly. I was before. I don't actually want to. Like, to me, that's not a shameful thing. Like, I don't want to get back into coding particularly. Then that's why, with the help of the AI stuff, I can still effectively do stuff, but not have to write all the code myself. Ouch. There's a huge beetle on me. Was that? I thought it was a spider or something, but it's a big beetle. That's crazy. I think it might have done its You know how beetles, some of them are like stink bug things. It might have actually done something. Anyway, that was weird. I haven't seen those in a long time. It's probably like, it's been raining a lot lately, so that must have like brought them inside or something. I hope it doesn't start flying around, because those things when they fly are like huge. Kind of freak you out and they go right in your face. What was I doing? I was trying to find how to like block certain types of message things. I don't remember how to say or what that feature is called. Okay, so it looks like it's probably going to be under mechanics. Do. Hey Aaron, how's it going? That's one thing that needs to be fixed, is the emotes don't show up on Beam. My hacking per se? Not really. No. I wouldn't call myself a hacker. I'm a legit, or I was like 10 years ago, I was a legit web developer. These days I just do it like begrudgingly, or I don't like to code anymore. So lately I've been using like AI and stuff to just do a lot of it for me, because I don't really enjoy writing code anymore. Yeah, okay. But I'm working on an actual like website right now though, like this Bible reading app, and I'm currently kind of working on CSS stuff, but every time I see code I assume, nice. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what it means to say hacker anymore. It's kind of like the terms change over time. Like once upon a time, if you said you're a hacker, that kind of had a negative, almost illegal type connotation or whatever. But like these days, I don't even know. It's just a word. I don't even know what it means anymore. But I've never been a hacker where I like try to break into like security or anything like that. But yeah, I know how to write code to some degree, but I'm not that talented at it. It's just something I did as my work, and never felt like I was really that good at it, to be honest. What do you think about the new quantum chip Microsoft just unveiled? I don't know what to think about it, honestly. I'm kind of an old doofer, so some of this new stuff kind of, I don't freak out, I don't get nervous, I don't get scared, I don't get fearful, but at the same time, like, it sounds ominous to me, like most of the stuff they've been doing, like the AI stuff, the quantum chips, all that stuff. I'm not exactly a fan. I kind of wish we would progress a little bit more slowly and cautiously, but that's just me. I don't really know what to think about it, to be honest. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can rewrite the CSS to work better. First of all, I'm not going to use line height. Well, I might, but I'm going to get rid of that and just see what happens. This is going to make it look terrible for initially, but we'll fix it. Actually, I feel like that should be I don't know. I'll just go with that and see what happens. I should have probably like picked up that beetle and thrown it outside. I'm gonna do that real quick because it's gonna end up crawling on my face later tonight. So let me get that out of here. I don't like to kill things if I don't have to, so I'll just pick it up and put it outside. I'll be right back. Okay. I don't know. I'm getting too distracted. I was looking at the social stream stuff and yeah, okay. So we're just going to try this. I know it's not going to work, but I want to get rid of things until I find out the offending CSS here. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I don't know if it's hypocrisy or just, I don't know, some people would call me a hypocrite because I don't like AI and I don't like that it exists. I think it's going to cause problems for humans, but at the same time I'm also using it. I don't know. It might prove to be no different than any other technology that's been invented. And the people that are alarmed about it might look stupid later on. I don't know. Kind of like when computers first came out, everyone thought it was going to be the end of the world or something. I mean, not everybody, but some people thought that it was probably going to replace everybody's jobs, and it did. I mean, there was a lot of people that did manual jobs that were replaced by computers when computers first came out. And same with like TVs and stuff. Some people think TVs were evil when they came out. So I honestly don't know what to think about AI in that regard. I think it's an amazing tool, but it's also kind of scary how it might replace a lot of people and stuff. But for the time being, I've just chosen to use it kind of like a tool, and I think it's a phase I'm going through. I'm not planning to like build a career based on my use of AI or something like that. But I think there's going to be a lot of people that get super rich, just like the early 80s or whatever, when Silicon Valley exploded and there's a bunch of millionaires made out of that. I think there's probably going to be the same kind of thing with AI. And I don't care about money, so I have no like intentions to like be one of those rich people or whatever. But and the same thing could be said for crypto as well. Like I don't know. I have no idea. I don't really get into the philosophical debates too much, but I do have my thoughts just like everybody else. And we're We could all be wrong. Some of us could be right. I have no idea. It takes time to figure all this stuff out. Okay, so let me... I don't remember if I uploaded that CSS file. So let's refresh this and see what it does. Okay, so now there's no... Okay, so there needs to be horizontal padding. I should have thought of that. Let me add that back in because I don't remember what I had it at. So 0.22. But let's take out the... See what happens when I take out the vertical padding, because I think that's going to cause a problem. And the line height as well. Let's make it like that, and then just see what happens. So weird because I feel like they're not all being treated equally. Like this X button is clearly, it might have separate CSS on it. Normally I would have this developer tools popped out into its own window, like filling an entire screen, because I have 3 monitors available, but since I'm excuse me, since I'm live streaming, I want to show what I'm doing, and I don't like working with it in this form. It's harder for me to look at. Need more space. Okay, so 1702, let's get rid of that one. Okay, I see what's going on. So since I have it based on this font size, that's the issue. So we'd either do the math to figure that out, or what I think I want to do is percentage, I think. Let's try. Just want to see what this does, 100%. That's weird. I don't fully know how the... some of the cascading works on CSS. Some of it's a little bit confusing to me. I mean, I could do REMs and stuff, but I kind of like keeping it in the EM zone, so maybe I'll just do the math on this. So, let's just refresh this and see what we got. So these font sizes are 1.3, and these 2 on the ends are 1. Assuming that it's the same base font size, then I should be able to do that math. Toolbar close, audio close, okay. Try to get these all on the same page, and then I can do the math. Maybe I should just not do the 1.3 there. I think it actually looks a little bit better without it. And take that off and just start from scratch on that. Let's see, where is that? 1652. So there's some issue in the, I'm using, I don't know, bootstrap icons, I think. That's what these are. They're not font awesome or whatever. I think they're, yeah, they're bootstrap icons. Something in the CSS of the bootstrap icons is making it so the buttons are not perfectly centered. Might be that there. And I could probably overwrite it, but it's annoying because that affects like everywhere on the site. It's not just in the audio player. But honestly, I'd like all the icons to be vertically aligned. And they aren't, so it's so weird. It's like, you can tell that it's like up above its container a little bit. I hate dissecting someone else's CSS, like a complicated library like Bootstrap or whatever, because it has a million variables and just pain in the butt to try to diagnose. I feel like this is probably where it's at. Let's see, that's yeah, I think that vertical line negative 0.125 EM is the culprit. That's my diagnosis. If I make it like negative 1 point something else, it looks more centered. So, and that's literally an error in their CSS. And I say error because obviously I think they would have designed it to try to have it centered. I don't think they'd intentionally have it be up a little bit from the center. That seems like a weird goal for them to have. So in other words, it's literally an error, like they miscalculated. So I'm going to override this in my own CSS. And it's possible that something that I did, like this here, I have some styling on all the icons. It's possible that I actually affected it in a negative way and I'm accusing them of something they're not really guilty of. I would have to like go back to no CSS in order to figure that out. Oh, I need to put my chat over there where I can see it. I keep covering it up on this monitor. All right. So let's do the scroll text. Oh, that's not everything. That's a very specific place. Okay. I don't think I have any universal icon overrides. I think I just have within certain contexts, but I'm gonna like, I think I want to do it on everything. I'm pretty sure. Okay, looks like I do have something. This here. Let's disable this, just see what it does. That's probably the same thing I just pasted or cut. Yeah, so that's the same thing I just grabbed to override. So let's just get rid of that and see what that does. Maybe I... Hey, maid. Thanks for the lemon. Alright, let's just see what that does. Okay, that doesn't seem to do anything, so I can't tell what it's doing. But what I am going to do is do that vertical line override. So let's figure out what they have, which was... Now I have to find that junk again. Oh, it was the before. That's right. So it's on the before thingy. Vertical align negative 0.125. So we need to make it something else. Let's zoom into an absurd level because it's kind of the only way to like have any clue as to what kind of alignment you're affecting. So let's do, if you're in a regular zoom, you can't really tell how much it's doing it because it's like you gotta think on the sub-pixel level in case somebody does do crazy huge scaling like this. I always test my CSS by zooming in a ridiculous amount to make sure that, because I generally do everything in proportional sizing so that if somebody crazy or just somebody with bad vision makes it big like this, that it will still look good. Of course, kind of arguable whether that looks good or not, but the idea is there. Okay, so I mean, if they want it this big, they also want the buttons this big, because if their vision's that bad, then they probably want everything big. So that's how I see it anyway. Okay. So we're gonna override this. Looked like about 0.22. That's good. That might actually fix the whole thing all across the site. I hope I didn't like override that anywhere else. I don't remember. Okay, I don't know if it's exactly centered, but that looks a lot better than it did before, that's for sure. I think it's still a little bit too high, possibly. Let me, the only way to actually know is to like take a screenshot and measure it in something like, you know, some kind of image editing app. And if I'm really in a picky mood, I'll do something like that, but 0.23 might be even better than 0.22. That looks pretty centered to me. This might actually fix the whole annoying thing that, like on mobile where nothing looks centered, theoretically this should fix that whole issue. Now I need to get rid of all this extra space on top of the icons. So let's see what's causing that. We got a wrapper, it doesn't have any padding. This, I don't know how that wrapper is getting its size because I don't see anything inside the wrapper that's that tall. So oh wait, this is pretty tall. Audio. Okay, so I need to take a look at this. Okay, that's the culprit. Okay. So we get rid of 1641. That's really all I have to do. I don't think there was a reason why I added that. I think it looks better without that, so let me just get rid of that. 1641. And I think we'd be in business. I have to kind of look throughout the rest of the site to make sure that those changes didn't explode something else. Is Kick Chat working? Yeah, I think so. Did you write something else? Oh, that's... I always get Kick and Rumble mixed up. They look very similar on the icon. Maybe it isn't. Let me check. Did you write something in Kick? Let me see. I don't see any messages like on the actual Kick website from you. I think it's working. Yeah, it appears to be working. D-Live chat wasn't coming up? Oh, really? Let me check D-Live. Maybe it's just you. Maybe you're typing like terrible things and D-Live is blocking you. Yeah, it's working for me. It's all you, man. I don't even see any messages from you on DLive. Like, when I go to the DLive chat, there's nothing written by you. It's weird. I don't know, man. DLive wasn't showing on screen. I don't know what you mean, though, because nobody was typing anything on DLive. So that's why it wasn't showing on screen. I don't know, man. You just said 3 comments. Oh, weird. Oh, so that's a deal. I see now. Okay, so if I go to my... That's really weird. I've never seen that happen before. So if I go to my dashboard on DLive, I see your messages. But in the pop-out chat for DLive, the messages aren't there. How weird is that? So it's not synchronized. I bet DLive changed their URL for pop-out, and they didn't tell anybody. Because I've always used the old Steady Faithful dlive.tv/c/flow/flow. It's always worked for me. And it does work. Like, I can type, like, check this out. So if I type stuff here, it shows up. But if I type stuff on the actual dashboard, it's so weird. So see, like, that message that I typed on the dashboard doesn't show up in the other place. Like, it doesn't transfer over to the pop-out chat. That's so annoying. It's just some bug that they introduced. So, okay, let me see. That's so annoying. Because if I type something in... If I don't use the pop-out chat, it doesn't get picked up by social stream. So I have to use the pop-out chat. Let me pop it out again. It's so annoying. They used to have a permanent URL. Let me test this. Okay. Now, can you type something again in the regular, not pop out? I want to see if it shows up in the pop out now. So it used to be that you could use the dlive.tv/c/username/username without any weird thing at the end. But it's looking like now it requires you to physically pop it out after you started the stream. That's what I'm kind of guessing now. That's so annoying. Hate it when things change. It's irritating. Let me test this. Yeah, that's it. So now if you want DLive to work with social stream, you have to pop out the chat after you've started the stream, which was never the case before. It's so annoying. I'm glad you noticed that, because I would have never known. Let's see what you said, though. Hope you're having a chill Sunday. Surprise! I always have to remind myself the difference in CSS of width, margin, and border. Yeah, well, there's even way more than that, too. It's crazy how many different attributes there are. Okay, so I need to write a note or to figure out a way to pop out the chat DLive now. That's what a pain. Because I think that little number at the end changes every stream, so I don't think I can just leave the same URL open all the time, but I could. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the same. I don't know. Blah blah blah. Let's put that where I was expecting it. I hate this kind of stuff that just, it used to work and then it just stops working. Ugh, so irritating. Alright, should work now though. Okay, I forgot where I was. Where I had left off here. Let me see if it looks like I saved that change. Did I get rid of that line that I was talking about? I don't remember. Let's see. Oh, the audio collapse, which is 1641. I don't think I did it yet. Yeah, so once I get rid of this, everything should work, I think. Find out momentarily. Okay. Can't tell if that's perfectly centered, but it looks pretty close. It's like way better than it was before. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I like the purple dev options. Purple dev options? I mean, just the color scheme that it has over here. Yeah, I didn't actually change the colors. That's just the default, I guess, on this browser. Okay, so let's go back out, scale out, and see if it still looks good. Yeah, I think that looks better. Although, see, what? Now my eyes, when I look at this, I feel like the icons are down lower. That doesn't make any sense. Like, it should be proportional scaling. But yeah, when it's small, like, icons look down too far. So I probably just choose something in the middle, like, instead of 0.23, maybe 0.2. It's more important to me to have it look good on normal size. That's funny. Like, now it looks high, before it looked low. So that's really arbitrary. So as you're zooming in, zooming back out, it doesn't like snap back to the same height. Like this number 318 and the 000 look up higher than the rest of everything. It looks pretty good. I think I'm going to actually add a little bit of padding in there though, because I don't want this to be so mini. Like it's nice that it's small, but when it's too small, it's actually kind of hard to click on the buttons on mobile. So it's Libre Wolf. It's basically like a more private version of Firefox. It's what I've been using lately for Firefox stuff. I still have Firefox installed though, like right here, but I kind of have several browsers installed for testing, but also just like when I use one for streaming and I don't want to have all my login stuff on there, or I need to have like nothing cached. This is kind of my development browser because I know that nothing's cached on there, so I know that like my code isn't gonna rely on previous mistakes and stuff. So yeah, I have like quite a few browsers installed actually. Yeah, I want that to be a little bit taller, and it's annoying me that those numbers aren't aligned. Like, oops. I don't really know why that's the case. They probably have their own CSS controlling them. Let me check them. Audio time. So I think if I make these display inline block, and then I or no, flex, inline flex, is that a thing? I think it is. check. Yes, inline flex is indeed a thing. Okay, good. Yep, that's what I wanted. I actually want all this stuff too. So that is on 1732. The naming conventions of the Flexbox model are so nonsense to me that literally every single time I need to do something in Flexbox, I always look at this CSS tricks page, which is amazing. This is the best, one of the best resources on the internet for CSS stuff. Like, it's just the way that he made this article is perfection. I look at this all the time. Like, every single time I do Flexbox stuff, I have to refer to this because I always forget what everything's called because the naming convention is kind of random and I don't have a photographic memory, so I just have to like remind myself. But this page is gold. It's literally gold. It's got some gold colors on there, but anyway. That should, let's see. That should fix it. Probably won't, but it'll get me somewhere and then I'll figure out what else I did wrong. Nope, didn't fix it. Let's check it out here. Text by nature is kind of weird because it has a baseline and it doesn't always line up with other elements like graphical elements, so you kind of have to just hack your way sometimes, like changing the line height, for example, or just like doing a vertical alignment. So I'm literally gonna hack it. Just say vertical line. Oops. Actually, why doesn't that work? It's telling me. What does it say? Vertical line has no effect on this since it's inline or table cell. Try display inline or... Oh, wait. Since it's not an inline. Ugh, I hate that kind of stuff. Well, then we just do padding top. Padding top. Until we get it looking good. Looks like about 0.15 will do it. This is very nitpicky. I don't think anybody else on Earth, I don't even know if literally one person on Earth does this kind of pixel perfect stuff, like to the degree that I do. I've never seen anyone do it. And usually when I'm looking at someone else's layout, I can always see something wrong. Even my own layout, like up here, text sucks because you got like you got letters like this that have like I can't remember the name. I used to know some of the text font stuff. I don't remember any of this stuff, but like the lowercase letters are a certain height, and then you got like whatever these things are called. I used to know all this stuff. I don't remember. You know, the things that go up and the things that go down. Ascenders and descenders, I think is what they're called. So visually, your eyes actually want to line things up on the lowercase. And you kind of forgive the fact that the ascenders and descenders are going above where it's aligned. So in reality, what I should do on up here, for example, is add more padding to the bottom so that these smaller case letters look vertically aligned in this menu up there. But sometimes I can, even though I see that and it bugs me, I sometimes turn off my perfectionism because I'm like, I don't really want to deal with that right now. But sometime later I'll look at it again and it'll bug me so much that I have to fix it. But I like Open Sans condensed light. Nice. I go through phases like a year or two at a time where I have a favorite font, and then like later on I look back at it and I say, that's the ugliest font I've ever seen. Right now I really like Avenir. That's what I've been using. That's what this font is right here. It just looks really clean. But yeah, I go through phases where I have a favorite font and then years later I look at it and I hate it. Like it's my least favorite font. So I kind of have to just keep finding new fonts all the time so I get tired of them. I used to like Railway quite a bit. I still like Railway. It looks pretty nice, but yeah. I just go through phases. I don't like Arial anymore. You know, just standard like Arial and Trebuchet and Verdana. Those used to be like the biggest. They probably still are some of the biggest fonts out there. I just got kind of tired of them. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. Of course, Helvetica, but since I'm not a Mac person, I don't really think about Mac fonts that much. Okay, so we need to make these a little bit taller. Let's see what we need to do to achieve that. I think if we do audio control, I think all we have to do is this, actually. Super easy now, because I got everything matched up, so there's no weird garbage going on. So now I can just change this one value and it should affect everything equally. So that's the benefit to kind of knowing your CSS. You can like get rid of extraneous rules and make it really a lot easier on yourself to change one value and it affects your entire layout the way that you would expect. It takes a little work to get there though, and sometimes it's not worth it. Like just, you know, write some crappy CSS to make it work and you'll be fine. But I tend to be somewhat of a perfectionist on my CSS. Alright, so let's see what... Yeah, that looks good. See, that's stupid. See, it's very easy for my eyes to see that those icons are shifted down from their center when it's in this. But if I refresh it again, like before, okay, so if I like zoom in again and then go 0. Last time when I was zooming in and out, it was like changing all the time. It's really weird. It's not doing that now that I'm like wanting it to. So stupid. The problem is browsers have to put things on a particular pixel. There's no such thing really as subpixels in CSS. So even though you're calculating things to a infinitesimal tiny degree, it has to choose one pixel or the other when it's scaled out. So it's, even though it looks perfect when it's zoomed in like this, when it's zoomed out, it has to choose one or the other pixel. And if it's down one, it's not going to look centered. If it's up one, it's not going to look centered. It's just kind of the nature of the beast, I guess. I do some work too. Alert for 5. All right, no worries. Thanks for dropping by. Okay, so I'm probably gonna like compromise and just call this good, even though it bugs me that it's still not vertically centered. Did all that, and now it's like, I think it's because of the 1.5 that I did, honestly. So if I were to make that some very specific value, probably it would snap to a pixel of my liking. Just not sure I'm willing to wrestle with that for infinite amounts of time. But if I were to make this like 1.45 or 1.475666, you know, some huge stupid number, it probably would pop to an exact pixel at some point. But I don't really care. I'm just going to leave it. Let me check my phone, though. I want to make sure that... Oh, shoot, my phone is being used right there. I do have a second phone, but it's not on, so I have to turn it on. I just want to make sure it looks halfway decent on my phone, because it's funny, like, even when you use this mobile simulator thing, I was just dealing with this the other day, like something that worked perfectly fine on this, based on the breakpoints and all that stuff. When you look at it on your phone, it just may or may not work, and I hate that kind of stuff because it's really hard to trace those kind of errors when you can't, like, test things on your phone, per se. Like, you can look at them on your phone, but you can't, like, access the developer tools on your phone, and it's just a pain in the butt. And I am being very, very picky right now. I can just leave this as it is. I just want to make sure the buttons are still clickable, and then I'll probably just let it go. So it's close enough. Oh, I forgot to turn my, I always forget to do this. I wish I would just remember my settings, but I have to physically click on the little button to make it so I hear that noise when somebody chats. Actually, I think there is a place I can put that in the URL. I think it's just beep or something. Let me test that. Pretty sure that's it. Let's test this. Nope. Thought it was beep, but it must be some other URL parameter. Might be audio or something. Anyway, I'll figure that out later. I don't want to keep getting distracted. So let me check this out on my phone, make sure it looks okay, acceptable at least. Another thing is, like, every browser might render it slightly differently too, and that's annoying. So you have, at a certain point, you have to compromise. There's no achieving of perfection on every browser and every device. You just have to get it close. But I did improve it. Like, it's definitely better than it was before, because the close button before was not the full height. At least that's fixed. Whether or not the stuff is up or down is debatable. I don't know. Wow, on this particular phone, everything looks really small. Smaller than I would like to see it. I think that might have been something that I actually did. Let me see. When I was messing around with this. I think all around, at least on this phone, I wish I could grab that phone and look at that one, but on this phone, all the buttons are way too small, so I need to... Oh, actually what I need to do is I need to enforce SCSS update, which is always annoying, but it's gotta you don't force update, then you're looking at old CSS. So I put this little version number in here to do that very thing. Sometimes I forget to do that. Phones hold on to cache like their life depends on it. You can't flush the cache of a mobile browser unless you actually clear the cache. It's really irritating. Okay, so that didn't do anything. That's weird. I don't think I've ever looked at this website on this phone, but it looks way smaller. Like the text is way smaller than on my main phone. Really wish I could pull that phone right now, but I'm using it as a camera, so I'll just try to remember to check it out later. Yeah, it's too small. So I need to... That might just be an issue of changing the font size on that. The breakpoint, honestly, which would be a much easier fix. So I can come down here somewhere. That's weird. I don't actually change that. It could also be that I have the font size too small on every browser. I'm trying to err on the side of making things a little bit bigger than I like. Partially because I'm getting older and my vision isn't as good as it used to be. I used to like really small text on the screen because I could read it easily. And as I'm getting older, my vision is shifting that I need a little bit bigger. Or like right now I'm looking at it on my giant TV. It's like a 55-inch TV, so I can see it no problem. But like if I drag this window onto my other monitor, it's a little bit too small. I might just up the font size of the entire website, the default, because you're gonna eventually be able to change all this anyway on these. None of these, or most of these options don't work, but eventually you'll be able to, each user can set their own font size, you know, all that in here. But I want to make like the default something that's presentable for more people than, like just make it a little bit bigger, so. That's crazy, 16 pixels? That's not right. That does not seem possible. Is this really 16? It's even bigger than 16. What? It looks so small. Doesn't seem possible. What's setting that? Like, where is that being set? That's amazing to me that it's that big and it looks tiny. See, a lot of this is being set by Bootstrap, which I kind of wish I could just get rid of Bootstrap, to be honest. And I could, but it'd be a lot of work. I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. I kind of prefer to have everything be hand-coded and not controlled by libraries, because then I know like where all the CSS is being assigned. But I've had pretty good luck with Bootstrap. I know it's kind of dated and there's other options out there, but it worked. I actually tried some of those other options at the beginning of this project and they were blowing up. Like the CSS was garbage and I was having problems that to a high degree that I've never had with Bootstrap. So I'm just like, wait a minute, like, do I really want to mess with this? Or I could just use Bootstrap and know that it'll work without a bunch of pointless investigation. So that's why I used Bootstrap, but I was actually kind of wanting to step away from Bootstrap and try something new, but everything that I tried was garbage, so I don't even remember which things I chose or which things I tried. And of course, I could hand code the entire thing. CSS is kind of my specialty, so I could literally recreate Bootstrap from scratch and get rid of all the extra pointless stuff that it does and make it really lean. But it's just more work than I wanted to bother with, and so I just decided to use it. But in some ways it's kind of annoying. There's a few things about their CSS that I don't like. It's generally pretty good though. Like, I don't hate it. Let's see, what was I doing? Font size. I can't believe that's 17.6 pixels. It's weird. I literally don't know where that's being set because I don't see a font size. Oh, here it is. Okay. 1.1. So 16 times 1.1. I guess that's 17.6. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to set I'm going to set a root font size. I can't remember if root is synonymous with body or what. I'm just curious. Back when I did CSS, I don't remember hearing about root. I see it all the time now. I don't know. How does root compare to HTML and body? Is body more specific in the cascade? I think it is. Root is a pseudoclass, the highest level parent of the document, which is typically the HTML. So yeah, that would mean body is more specific, so that means if I want to override what they've done, I have to put it on the body, not the root. Like, I have it on a root here, so I need to change that to body, I guess. So apparently I don't have anything on body right now. At least it doesn't look like it. $18 pixels is huge. Yeah, let's just see what it looks like. Never had a base font size of 18 pixels. It's gigantic. It might be too big, but I'll just see what it looks like. Oh, it looks pretty nice. Let me see on my other monitor. I think that's actually a pretty good size. I don't think I've ever had a project in my life that has a base font size of that big, but this is, I mean, the whole point of this, everything's changed too. Like back in the 90s when I used to do this stuff, 90s and early 2000s, I feel like 10 and 12 pixels was kind of a normal size, and you always wanted to like fit as much stuff on the screen as you could, so it could be above the fold or whatever. These days, man, every single design that I see out on the web now is like spaced out like crazy, like 500 pixels of padding and all this crazy stuff. To me, it does, I can understand the aesthetic. It does look nice, I guess, but like, it's such a waste of space. Like, you could fit huge amounts of information in that empty area, but just for the sake of how it looks, that's kind of the design changes that have happened over the years. Back when I did this stuff, everything was like, just fit it, you know, as small of a space as you can. Not entirely, you know, obviously they have padding and margin, but it was very different design concerns back when I used to do this stuff. I've tried to adapt, but sometimes I don't know, I think I strike a balance somewhere in between. Like, for example, where this this is up here, most designers would say, oh, you need like 900 pixels above and below that. It's way too crowded, but I don't care what people think sometimes. Let's see. Yeah, I think that 18 is good. The crazy cool thing is, since I did every single value everywhere, including the border, I don't even do border 1px solid black or whatever. I do one like 0.05 EM on the borders. Like literally every value, I think, except for the base font size, is in EM, so that if I change the base font size, everything scales up proportionately. And I didn't used to do it that way, but once I started doing it that way, I can't go back, because it makes it so much easier to change the size of everything. If you don't do it that way, you have to change like literally hundreds of values all throughout your CSS, and it's a total waste of time, and it's a nightmare to try to troubleshoot where the problems are happening. So I pretty much always do it that way now. Oh, I need to force a CSS update again. I don't know if I ever actually uploaded that file. I think I did. Yeah, it looks better. It's still pretty small though. Backstory took a bit longer than 5 minutes. Oh, who cares? That's fine. You have stuff to do. Like if you didn't even come back at all, I wouldn't be mad or something. Where did he go? He said 5 minutes. Okay, that is better. For some reason, this phone, it looks really scaled down. Like, I don't know about desktop, but I think on mobile, I'm gonna do a breakpoint and make the font size like 20 or 22 or something on mobile. It's way too small. Especially the buttons. All the buttons are tiny. You're listening, nice. I feel sorry for you having to... Well, you don't have to watch this stuff, but I don't know what causes you to want to watch such a boring stream. Okay, let's do my breakpoint down here. I have so much. This CSS file is getting out of hand. It's just big. It takes me forever to find stuff. Extremely chill. Yeah, it's like my real friends, like in real life, we don't feel like the need to entertain each other, and that's kind of what has that's my whole like philosophy in hanging out, like, and I'm not an entertainer, so like, and that's why for all these years I've never considered myself a streamer or an entertainer or somebody interesting that anybody should watch, because I'm not any different in real life than I am as a streamer, so I don't like put on this fake like persona and like try to make people laugh and stuff. I just my regular boring self, and I think that's part of why I don't have a big following all these years later. But I don't actually want a big following, so it works. It all works. Let's see. Oh, I forgot again what I was doing. Looking for the breakpoint. I could just do a search for 768. Okay. Let's do body. Font size 22. Let's try that. It's probably too big, but we'll start there and roll it off as I go. I need to check on my other phone too, because I feel like this this phone is making everything smaller than anything else I've ever seen in my life. Whoa, what just happened there? Did I make it like... What did I do? Just destroyed it. 22 EM, that's hilarious. Okay, that's funny. All right. Yeah, it's way better. I'll just go with that. 22 looks pretty good. On this phone, like I don't know about some other phone. It's actually looking to me like the header is not proportional. I'm gonna check that. Because the header is small, even though everything else is kind of big. So I might contradict myself in that I did not make the header proportional. Maybe it's in pixels or something. But it should be proportional. Yeah, everything looks proportional, but it's really small. It's like too small in my opinion. I think I did make a change to that recently though. Let me see. I made it smaller, but it looks like I went overboard. I think I made it too small. I think somewhere we got a nav top and a nav bottom with a like a font size 0.09 or 0.085. If I remember right in my code. So I need to find out where that is. Maybe make an adjustment. This is the most nitpicked CSS on Earth. Okay. Nav top. Okay, that right there is a little bit too small, I think. I don't know. I'm getting like I'm getting stuck in the weeds right now. This stuff is important to perfect later on, but like I wasn't really planning to just write CSS all night. So I'm just gonna break out of perfectionist mode and I'll go back to it sometime, but I don't really care right now. Like I just don't wanna. Yeah, see how small that is up there. Somewhere I have a I'm making it too small on the breakpoint, but I'll fix that later. It is bugging me right now, but I need to just move on. And I wanted to get something done today, like a function done, like a. And I mean it is cool to like fix the CSS on this thing. I guess what I could do next is try to fix it so that it can't ever possibly be out of view. Let me see if I can even find that code. I don't remember what I called it. So long ago that I wrote this stuff. Visible? No. think it should be in this function. Let me just scroll down and see if I can find it. I need to change a lot of these functions, combine some of them, get rid of some. It's kind of a Frankenstein. I wouldn't call it spaghetti code. There's a little bit of spaghetti code, but I write spaghetti code and I don't really care, but it's getting big. It's like so much going on in here that I sort of get overwhelmed when I try to find certain things. Like trying to figure out the flow or this, whatever you call it, the stack or something. Just this function calls that function, that calls that function, that calls that function. Like, ugh. I hate that stuff. It's gotten to the point where I don't remember half of what's going on in my own code. This is definitely the biggest project I've worked on, like from scratch on my own. Back when I was doing this full time, I was working with another guy, and actually, all the projects that we worked on professionally, I think were actually smaller and less complex than this. The code that I'm writing for this is infinitely more complex than what I was doing way back then. So I'm already like light years ahead of where I was in my professional career just by this project that I've undertaken. It's pretty complicated, mainly because it's a single page app, which is something I've not done a lot of, if any, because back in the day, like, yeah, Ajax was a thing, but trying to make single page apps was a pain in the butt because of the history API and all that stuff not really being fully supported. And there was all the hash bang or whatever it's called. Just the stuff that you had to do, and I didn't really do a lot of that. Like I did some some Ajax stuff, but it was mainly to populate like menus on the fly. It wasn't like to. That's not true. I guess we did some Ajax loading of page content and stuff, but it was a lot different way back then, like 10 years ago. It's actually more than 10 years ago, more like 15 years ago, because I literally quit my job 10 years ago, and I'd been doing it for 15 years before that, so yeah, anyway, whatever. I already forgot what I was looking for now, because I distracted myself by rambling. I have to remind myself what I was doing. Oh yeah, the visibility of the toolbar. It could be... I don't think it's in the audio player. No, it's got to be out here somewhere. And I might have scrolled past it already because I was kind of scrolling without reading all the function names. Scroll wheels, left and right. No. I'm going to have to fix that eventually. This is like spaghetti code. Like this function here is massively complicated for my taste. And I don't mind writing crappy code, but this function here is a nightmare. Look at that. I mean, if I got rid of all my comments, it wouldn't be as huge, but that's the function that takes the Bible API JSON and converts it to HTML. This was before I was using AI in this project. Now I'm kind of writing some of the stuff using AI, but back when I started, I was just hand coding the whole thing. So most of this, actually, I think the majority of this main.js is my handwritten code with some you know, I obviously copy and paste some example code and like alter it, whatever, but everybody does that. Oh, I want to get rid of this too, or fix it. Okay, I must have scrolled past it already, I think. See. Literally can't remember what it's called. Oh, there's probably an easier way to do this. Let's see. Let's look at the... Let's look at the events here. So mouse down, we got Universal 301, so that will get me probably closer. So it was in here, that's why I wasn't seeing it. Here it is. Okay. This stuff, like on the draggable thing, I think I might have, I think I had AI help me on it. So I don't have a full, like, comprehensive understanding of this code because I just cut and paste some of it from an AI prompt. So what I'll probably do on this is I'm just gonna feed it into AI again if it's not too long. It's pretty big. Just for overlap. Yeah, I don't know if I can paste all of this into AI. I think it's too big. Oh, it's huge. This is gigantic. Keep in view. So I have some logic that does this already, but it's not comprehensive. So basically, let's see, what does my code do? Partly, like, I can't drag it outside of this visible box. Like, I can drag it over here to the left and it'll, like, snap to the side. I can drag it up, it'll snap to the top. I can drag it over here. So that's partly what that code is doing, but I also have, so I have two toolboxes. I have this other one here. And I wrote it so that if you try to put them on top of each other, they snap off of each other, which is another little slight bug that I need to figure out, because if you put one down here and then you try to put this one on top of it, it snaps to the top, but there's not a buffer. So I've had a couple circumstances where these just start like snapping above and a kind of infinite loop sort of scenario. Like every time I refresh the page, they start going higher on the page because of the logic not being quite perfect. So I need to add like a few pixel buffer. So instead of snapping exactly to the top like they do now, there would be like half a EM in between or something. Otherwise it'll have that weird behavior. But it's actually kind of hard to recreate what I'm seeing with that. Oh, and also I actually save the position of this in local storage so that if you refresh the page, it stays there. I think the problem comes into where if you resize the browser, so see how, okay, so it stays in view. That's actually pushing it over. But I think if it's hidden, like right now it's hidden, I think probably what's happening is in certain rare circumstances, I think if you have, like if you clear your browser cache so there's no local storage to pull back the position and other weird obscure scenarios are in play, it can put it outside the view and not pull it back in. So that's what I need to hunt down and fix. And it's such a strange scenario, unusual circumstance, that it's kind of hard to figure out where to fix that. And by the way, I need to fix the CSS on the bottom. There's actually probably the only one that would notice this, but where that light blue is, there's stuff underneath that. It should be all the way to the bottom. So it's because I changed the font size on everything, so it introduced some space on the bottom that I need to fill in, whatever. Let's see. I guess I'll fix that right now while I'm looking at it. Let me see. It might only be on mobile. Let me check. No, it's on here too, but it's less noticeable. So basically what I have to do is I have to come in. I don't like how I'm doing this, but it's one of many ways to do this. Somewhere on here I have a height set that I need to change. Yeah, this calculation here I need to change, so let's see what it needs to be. A little bit less, so like 0.8, 0.5, 0.6. 8.7, perhaps. Looks like that'll do. So let me try to update that, see if that fixes. It might just fix it on desktop, and then I might have to do some other value on mobile. I don't remember. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, 4.1. So 8.7 on desktop, and this one needs to be like 3.7 or something. I'm so bad at remembering stuff. It's kind of like names. Like you meet somebody and say, "Hey, Jeff." "Hey, Dave." And then 3 seconds later, you forget their name. I just said what the value was on the desktop, and it was 8.7, but I forgot. So 8.7 and 3.7, I think. Yeah, okay. Let's fix that. While I'm thinking about it, because I could easily forget that. I don't remember what it was before. 9 p.m., perhaps. So make that 8.7, make this 8.7. That's probably redundant, but I don't know. I was having issues with it, so I just made them both the same. And it seemed to fix what I was experiencing, so I just left it in there. Sometimes I add rules that don't need to be added, and it's good to know CSS well enough that you don't add pointless things. Like, for example, never add display block to a div, because every div is display block by default, and you know, things like that. Basically, like spans don't need to be display inline because they already are. It's only if you want to change it to something that's not the default, because you start adding all these pointless rules in there, and then they cascade to places that you don't expect, and then you can't figure out what you did wrong. Let's see. Well, I just lost my mind there for a second. I was talking too much. 4.1 is 3.7. That should fix that gap on the bottom. I'll probably have to change it again, because I'm at some point I want to make the nav top a little bit bigger. I think I went a little bit crazy on making it small. I was trying to make it so that like very minimal interface on a mobile phone. I mean on a phone. So I made the menu at the top almost nothing, but it's kind of too small. Like that looks kind of dinky. Because one of the hallmarks of this project is it's not meant to be a product that I sell or market. So if you go to this website, you just go straight into the Bible. There's no landing page, there's no explanation, there's no instructions, there's no like buy this, log in, nothing. It's just you go straight into the Bible. And I want to keep it that way. So I almost to the point like where I don't even care if it's called anything. It's just literally a Bible. And this is going to be free and open source at some point. Like I'm going to put it on GitHub and people can like grab it and use it for their own projects, so they could like change the branding. So I might actually make it kind of brandless at some point. And then there wouldn't really be a need to have I guess even now there's no point to have that header at the top, because I put the menu at the bottom on purpose so that if you're on a mobile, you don't have to like reach high. You know, all the buttons are on the bottom of the phone, so you can just be holding your huge, even if you have a super sized phone, you can just like reach everything. So since I did that, I could probably just hide the top navigation on mobile, probably. Use LibreWolf, nice for a while, yeah. I keep changing, like, partly it's because I switched to Linux and everything is just different. I was pretty set on, it's not entirely true, but I change browsers all the time. I don't even know why. I find like one annoying feature that I can't fix, and I'm just like, I go ballistic. Practically, I'm just like, this is stupid. And then I try to find some browser that doesn't have the same issue or whatever. And like last time you were talking to me, I said I used to use Vivaldi also, and there was some weird bug or some issue that randomly popped up. Like everything was perfect, and then all of a sudden something changed. And for the life of me, I have no idea what that was, and it may have been fixed since then, whatever the issue was. Anyway, let's see. The other thing I was thinking as a possibility would be to have a click bring the menu down, but the only reason you would do that is if you actually have some kind of menu or buttons on the top. So I feel like, in my opinion, on mobile, I could just, since I don't care about branding at all, I could just get rid of that, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings. Because the more space there is for the actual text, the better. I guess one of the reasons I kept it there is because when you scroll down to where this H1 tag or whatever it is doesn't show anymore, I made it so it fades into that open area up there, just so that you wouldn't forget like where you're at, like what chapter you're reading. So I guess for that reason alone, I can just leave it there. It's kind of annoying me how little space there is, though, even though I was just talking about how I like things to be a little bit more compact than the standard modern design sensibilities. It's a little bit too scrunched since I changed that. I can't find that code that I don't remember where I changed that code. Use whatever works best with your hardware, software, usage situation, different for everybody. Yeah, I just change it up all the time, just on kind of random parameters. Most of it has to do with streaming, though, like just as a wild random crap example. I live stream on younow.com, and they literally just recently changed it to where it sniffs your browser agent string or whatever, And it doesn't allow you to stream there if you're not using Chrome, which is the dumbest thing ever. It's the stupidest thing they could possibly do. So, dumb on them. Foolish, absolutely stupid decision for them to make. That's true. But I don't want to stop streaming there just because of that, so it's funny because I was already using Brave, which is Chromium based, so I thought, like, really? Like, I basically am using Chrome? Are you that picky? But it still wasn't working, so that's why I started using ungoogled Chromium, which surprisingly, ungoogled Chromium works, but for some reason, Brave doesn't, even though they're both Chromium based. I didn't try Edge, but I don't really want to install Edge on Linux. That just feels wrong somehow. But Edge is also Chromium based. But anyway. Ezekiel 9, Alpha and Omega, the last letter in Hebrew, Tau, Luke 22:10, Aquarius, Pisces, water barrier. That's a lot of words. Hello, Omegas. I recently switched from WaterFox to Firefox Developer Edition. There's so many. I've never even heard of WaterFox. There's so many different variations. It's ridiculous. Okay, yeah, I want some padding up here. Let me see what I need to do to get that look how I want. Shouldn't be that hard. Nav, let's see. The logo could be a little bit bigger too. It's really tiny. So font size, let's make that a little bit bigger. That's kind of ridiculous. 0.9, I could probably just go 1. I think the best one is standardish Firefox distro with custom user profile for speed. Yeah, the thing is, like, it annoys me because Firefox and Chrome are kind of neck and neck in supporting different technologies. There's actual things that Chrome is better at. Like lately I've been messing around with SVG animations and CSS animations, and I think both of them, I know for a fact that SVG animations work far better in Chrome than Firefox. And I think CSS does as well, CSS animations. So if you're like doing cutting edge kind of experimental, fun, kind of techie stuff, there's like, it's really irritating because you don't really want to make code that only works in one browser, and it's not that like this SVG animation doesn't work in Firefox. It works, it's just like all chunky. It's like, it just looks choppy compared to Chrome. It's just, yeah, there's always something like that though, like something that works better in one browser better than the other. My user profile cuts all animations it can for speed. Gotcha. Yeah, but like if you're actually purposely making animations, then that kind of defeats the purpose. Like, for example, if you're playing a HTML5 game that uses Canvas technology and JavaScript and stuff, and you have JavaScript disabled, then you're just borking yourself, you know. Or you're trying to use Gmail and you can't disable, you know, JavaScript. I don't know. I'm not saying you're disabling JavaScript, but anyone that disables JavaScript, in my opinion, is like, I don't want to say anything negative, but just like, what are you doing? Like, JavaScript runs the entire internet. Like, I don't think there's one site, unless you go to like GeoCities or Angel Fire from 1990, that doesn't use massive JavaScript. Like, you can't disable JavaScript. But anyway, that's just a side point. You didn't actually say that you did that. I'm just saying in general. But yeah. But like, imagine like trying to play an online version of a game without any technologies enabled. It's just like, you just can't do it. It's not going to work. Let's see, what was I doing? Okay, I'm going to make that one. I also need to add some more padding, I guess. $2,039. I don't think hardly any sites now, like, it used to be a thing, like back when I used to do web design, you had to make everything work even if people were weird and had JavaScript disabled, or they or like if they're using Internet Explorer 6 or something stupid like that. I don't think people give a rip anymore, honestly. Like, and I think it's kind of annoying to have to support those edge cases. I don't do it anymore. Like, I'm not working professionally, so if I was working professionally, I'd probably still have to do some of that stuff where, like, we find out like that 0.00001% of our clients use Internet Explorer 6, so we gotta like destroy our entire website just to, you know, to appease that one customer or something like that. These days I don't really think that's much of an issue, and I think I would probably kind of refuse. I would just have a firm hand and say, nope, sorry customer, you gotta update your browser. It's like, give me a break. I think I find it much more liberating and fun to do any of this stuff when you don't have to worry about that stuff, because that stuff is a nightmare trying to support every browser under the sun. And like, I generally test it on my phone and a couple browsers, and that's about it. And generally everything works now, like unless you have a really old browser. So, but yeah, some people still have Windows XP and whatever, so it's crazy. Especially in other countries. I've heard that like Windows XP is actually still kind of popular in other countries, and Windows 7 and whatever. It's funny. They were good operating systems in their time, but they're kind of outdated now at this point. Let's see. I need to add some padding somewhere. I need to just decide like where to put it. Random comments that have nothing to do with the stream. Let's see. I think if I just trying to figure out if I want to add padding inside the inner container, or probably just do it on the nav top. So let me see here. Got top. Interesting. I didn't remember that I did this. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay. I could just either get rid of that or adjust it how I want it. I was trying to find that earlier and I couldn't find it for some reason. So that's on line 2020. Let's see here. Let's do like 25EM and see what that looks like. Actually, let me test it over here first. It's pretty balanced, but I think I can go a little bit smaller. Just I want to find a nice balance between too small and decent. That looks good. Let's do I think I'll make the font size of that header smaller too. So let's make it 0.2. But yeah, if somebody keeps doing the pointless derailing attempts, I just eventually just block. That's just kind of a soft warning because there's no point to talk about stuff that streamers aren't talking about just to try to put your agenda out there. It's a waste of time. Obviously, we're doing web development, not talking about pointless politics that don't matter. Let's see. Okay, so this. Rumble chat? No, it's Odyssey. Odyssey is kind of like Rumble. It's kind of geared toward right-wing stuff, which is, it's fine. It's just that, like, I don't care if people talk about that stuff on their streams, but obviously I'm not talking about politics, so it's literally just an attempt to, like, derail and you know, take command of somebody else's content, which is just a waste of everybody's time. Let's see, so 252, 54. I actually have a rule in my stream rules that people aren't allowed to do that, but you know, as long as they don't go bonkers, I just ignore it for a while, and then if it persists, then I deal with it. But it doesn't happen that much, honestly. Okay. Most people are pretty polite and, you know, understanding. Like, I don't care what anybody thinks in their political views. I'm not a political streamer. Like, I'm a breath of fresh air to the streaming world. Like, I know I'm boring, but I don't talk about junk that is annoying like most people. Like, I want to have like a welcoming environment that anybody can just sit back and relax and enjoy. So it's all family friendly here. We don't talk like pointless politics, and you know, occasionally I'll share something that I've been thinking about, but I don't like politics, honestly. That doesn't drive me. Doesn't like interest me. Okay. And it's fine. Like, I have no problem with other people doing that. I don't want my stream to get caught up in that caught up in the slums. Okay. You know, everybody's kind of offended or distaste for different things. Like, because obviously I talk about religious stuff and a lot of people don't like that, and so I totally get it if people are like not wanting to hear religious stuff. Then I'm not the channel to watch. And I would totally respect people that just like unfollow or just go away if I start talking about the Bible or something, and I would have no beef against those people. I respect other people's preferences, but you know, I have my channel, they have theirs, we do different stuff, and it's totally fine. It looks like 1.05 looks pretty good. Just go with that. Oh, I forgot to have this long thing. So if the text is longer than a certain number of characters, I actually make it smaller. Seems like that would be really small, but it seems better than before. So we'll just save it. I prefer not to ban people, though. I just prefer prefer that people will be reasonable, and most people are. I don't think that guy will just keep going on and on. But I got the message. Alright. That looks a lot better. Let me check my phone just to make sure. Now I think I'm going to have to change the height and min height again, possibly. Let me see. Might just work. Yeah, I think we're good. Alright, so basically this seems to be a CSS stream. I keep seeing stuff I want to fix, and I'm trying to ignore it, and I just can't seem to do it, so at least I'm getting something done. But yeah, I'm not a fan of any politicians. Like, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm not like a fanboy of Trump or of Biden or anybody. Like, I'm definitely not a fanboy of Biden. I can't imagine anybody being a fanboy of but yeah, I'm not like a all in on Trump, some kind of hero kind of guy. I don't think anybody is a good politician, to be honest. There's some that are less garbage than others, and that's about it. This probably could be a little bit bigger still, mainly because I like how it looks, but the problem is on mobile, it's actually kind of small and a little bit hard to click the buttons, but I think, I don't know, I think it's okay. Some people would complain, it's like, I need to make it bigger, but I don't want it to take up like half the screen. I think that's a good balance for now until I decide differently. Okay. I would like to fix that issue where this audio player can disappear, but it's kind of hard to reproduce because I am saving its position in local storage, and so the only way to even simulate that issue is to clear my history. Yeah, I think that's the only way to recreate it. Which there's a couple issues that I need to fix related to that. So if I clear the cache, for example, this gets messed up, the books list, because I save the books list in local storage because it's pointless to call the free API every single time you push that button. So I figured may as well save that, but apparently I never fixed it so that it loads it the first time. So that's a little bug I need to fix. Also, that's weird. Looks like my scroll is getting cut off there. I don't know how long it's been doing that, but I used to have it. Didn't used to do that. That's different. So let's fix that. I guess it's a CSS day today. I actually don't really have a way to simulate that because I think I'm changing that with JavaScript, not CSS, so let's see. I also have to find in my code wherever I set the width of that. My voice is all grainy sometimes, like there's nothing I can do about it. it's just, I don't have a good voice for streaming. I don't have a good voice in general. It's funny because when I first started years ago, probably the #1 comment I got all the time is people said I have a relaxing voice and it just like helps them relax. Kind of like Bob Ross. I always get the Bob Ross comment a lot. But I think my voice is terrible. Like, it's hard to understand. Like, a lot of times when people think I'm having audio issues, it's not actually an audio issue. It's because my voice doesn't carry well and it doesn't pick up on microphones very well. The same person, any other person sitting in my same spot with the same microphone, same setup, it would work because it's all configured properly and it's all good, but my voice sucks. And yeah, I can't stand my voice. It's the worst. But it is what it is. Let's see. Okay, this should be it here. I just need to figure out how wide this thing is. Actually, don't see anything here that's enforcing a width. I don't know where that's happening. Somewhere there must be a width specified. I don't see it though. It's weird. Maybe I got rid of that and accidentally, and that's the whole issue. I need to add it back in. I can't remember if see, 108 by 54 sounds right. I don't know. I actually don't know why that's getting cut off, to be honest. I think it might have something to do with me changing the size of the something. It's not like a font size issue. It's kind of complicated actually when I think of it in that sense. Let me see if I don't know if this is affected by font size or not. It shouldn't be. I guess it is. It's kind of like a font. So now if yeah, so it doesn't get clipped when it's a smaller font size. I actually kind of like it being a little bit smaller anyway, so I might just, that's an easy fix. I could just make it smaller. What in the world just happened? No, it disappeared. That's weird. What? I don't know what just happened. That's interesting. I don't know, honestly. Oops. Okay, for some reason when I change the font size on this, that helps. So let me just... Okay, so if I make it 0.9, that seems to work. So 1, 2, 3, 6. Where's that? 1, 2, 3, 6. So just in here, or is it? Yeah, I think so. Font size 0.9. Yeah, sorry if I came on a little bit too strong about politics. I like that there's people out there doing the politics thing. I don't want them to go away or stop doing what they're doing. It's just, I don't want to be yet another voice in that sea of, there's there's literally hundreds and hundreds of people already doing that, and I want to be different. I don't want to be just another guy talking about politics. It's just, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Oh, it's still getting cut off a tiny bit, I think. Like, let me try like 0.88 or something. Kind of hard to see because it's underneath the... Yeah, I think that's good. 0.88 seems to do it. Do it. I don't necessarily want to be all politics either. Manufacturing is the extent of my political attention span. Yeah, it's kind of, it's also a bad business decision. Like, you know how like we are annoyed when Disney gets into politics because we don't agree with their politics. And we just wish they would make entertaining movies. It's the same thing for people that like have the opposite view. They don't want to like do business with somebody if all they're talking about is their political convictions. Like, it's okay, like I'm all about free speech and stuff, but like you have to be a little bit savvy, use a little bit of wisdom. Like, if you want to have business success in the world, you gotta like put that a little bit in the back burner, in my opinion. Unless you only want customers that you agree with their political whatever leaning and stuff, which I just don't think it's a good idea, because like, why limit your clientele to half of the people out there, or even less than half? Like, if you're too extreme, like really far on the right, for example, there's going to be even some people on the right that don't want to do business with you because they're like, whoa, that guy's like way out there, or is a little bit cuckoo, or you know, whatever. Even if you're not cuckoo, that's just what they think. So in my opinion, it just makes sense to, as far as business goes, to not be all about politics and stuff if you want to have like clients of any type, you know. But that's up to every person to decide for themselves. I just think it's in a business setting, it's best to leave politics at the door. In personal discussions and live streaming and stuff, you can do whatever you want. But as far as like, if you're trying to like reach the widest possible audience and grow your business, I think it's not a good idea to be too much into politics either direction. Like, I'm not saying, you know, people on the right get a free pass and people on the left shouldn't talk about politics. I think it applies for both sides, really. If you want to have good, strong relationships with your customers, don't talk about politics in the business setting. You know what I mean? It's like the kind of business I'm in or want to be in or whatever, like most of my customers will probably have different views than I will. So if I were to like be all super vocal about my political leaning, I would lose like most of my customers. So it's like that's weird. My boss likes me because we align politically and he can trust my judgment. See, that's cool. That's an amazing situation to be in, but a lot of the time you don't get that choice, or that, like, that's a blessing, really. That's like an amazing, great spot to be in. Like, just as an example, like I tend to be more conservative or whatever. And I lived in Portland, of all places, so you can imagine how crap that was. Like I couldn't talk about anything I believed in ever because literally almost every single person around me was would have like wanted to punch me in the face if I said anything that I believed. So yeah, it's unfortunate. You just have to be savvy or wise. I don't know. There's several different words. Just you got to read the room. You know, like figure out what makes sense in each situation, and it's different every time. Okay, let's see. But yeah, if your work environment's like full of people that you agree with, that's like ideal. It's like you don't have to worry about, you know, getting in trouble all the time or saying the wrong thing. It's like I wish most people were like less offended by things they disagree with. That would be nice, but you know, you can't force people to grow thicker skin, you know? Like if somebody is really easily offended, you can't just force them to, you know, whatever. I think you gotta be more considerate to people's backgrounds. If I didn't agree, would certainly butt heads quite a lot. Yeah, with your boss, yeah, for sure. I've never really been that blessed with, like, I've always had really good bosses, to be honest. People that I really enjoy working with. But I don't think we've agreed politically. I just don't talk about that stuff. And some of your best friends, like some of my best friends, I don't agree with anything about that stuff with them. We just don't talk about it. They're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change their mind. And we can just enjoy each other's company, have like shared activities that we both enjoy. Like if we both like hiking, I don't give a rip if somebody's like different ideology than me. If we enjoy something together, you know, like let's play retro video games and skip stupid politics. Like, he goes off to me at work about stuff. It's funny. I don't want to talk about it either. I'm not trying to be friends with coworkers. Just do the job and be friendly. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes that's the way it has to be. It's like, just tolerate each other. I had to deal with, I kind of found it sort of fun, a fun challenge to like break the barriers though. Like there's this one lady that I worked with, she was always like in kind of a snarly mood, and she knew it about herself. I think she might have had some little sign up in her office that said something about her mood, or she might snap at you. Well, I don't remember, but anyway, I found it fun to like break through those people's barriers and just become, you know, not necessarily a friend, but somebody that they enjoyed talking with, you know, in spite of not really enjoying talking with anybody else. It's just kind of a personal challenge. Like, okay, you got that issue, I'm gonna get through to you somehow, you know. That was back when I actually worked in an office, though. To be honest, I don't like office politics, and I don't really want to have to go back into an office anytime soon. Because I'd rather just avoid all that stuff, but, you know, sometimes you don't get to choose what you do in life. But we'll see. I might end up at just McDonald's or something, because I don't know, I'm having a really hard time finding any kind of work, so I don't know what'll be my fate. Okay. No, I mean, I don't want to, but like, I live in the middle of nowhere. Like, there's not like a bunch of like companies here, so I pretty much, the only places I can work are like restaurant or cafe or just store or something. Like, that's one of the, I mean, I love living in the country. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't want to go back to the city, but man, jobs are scarce. Gardening supply. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I wish I had certain skills, like, working in a hardware store or something. Like, I wish I knew everything. Well, just as an example, it'd be awesome if I knew everything about cars and I could work at an auto parts store or, a hardware store and give people advice how to build their houses or whatever. But I don't have that skill, and you can't just like pick it up overnight. So I would feel very intimidated working at a place where people come into the desk, like the front desk, and say, "Hey, I have a 1952 Ford, and I'm having this issue with alternator." I might just be like, "Whoa, okay. Hopefully, I can find it on the computer because I don't know crap about that stuff." I feel really insecure if I was working at a place where I had no idea what the products were about or how to help people. Just think I would get really anxious, nervous. Okay, let's see. I do IT website management for a small company. Yeah, the thing is though, like I used to do that stuff and I got some psychologically barrier burnout with it to the point where I know it seems like I'm like, if you're watching my streams, it might seem like I'm overcoming that barrier, but it's hard to describe how strong it was for literally 10 years straight from 2015 until just recently. I had not been able to sit down at a computer and look at or write a single line of code. It was almost like some sort of PTSD traumatic thing where my brain just kind of shut down. I couldn't do it. And I think the only reason I'm able to do it now is because I've been using the AI stuff, so I don't have to get overwhelmed by the stuff that I used to hate. Like, I can just ask the computer to do it for me, and I don't have to like I mean, I still hate coding, to be honest. It hasn't changed. So yeah, in other words, the last thing I want to do is to get back into that career. I've already made that. I've made that decision. I've made that pivot. I'm not going to go back there. But the only part of the reason I'm able to do this project is because I'm literally inspired by the power of the maker of the universe. Imagine if like you suck at something, but the most powerful being in the universe is lending you a little bit of his ability. Imagine how that would change what you do day to day. That sounds like crazy or exaggerating, but the reason I'm able to work on this project is because it's something for his kingdom and something that I think he kind of cares about in some way or another. So he's fueling me with inspiration and abilities that are beyond my ability. Like, if you saw the kind of code that I was writing back when I was employed 10 years ago, it's laughably bad. The code that I'm writing now it might still suck. Like, an actual professional developer would probably look at it and say, he doesn't know what he's doing. And that's fine. I don't have any arrogance or pride about it. I don't care what anybody thinks. But what I can confidently say is what's happening right now on this stream is actually fueled by the maker of the universe to some level. He's opening my mind. He's giving me interest beyond my burnout and abilities that are miraculously supplied to some level, because prior to taking on this project, I couldn't do it. I couldn't force myself to do it anymore. Like, I hated it so bad. And yeah, that's the only that's my testimony. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. It might sound, people that don't believe in God or just believe in science, or even people that do believe in God might think I'm exaggerating or something. Fine, don't believe it. I don't care. But I'm telling you from my own perspective, something's happened inside of me that's beyond my natural ability. And so I give him credit for that because, yeah, anyway. That's why most people do anything, in my opinion. Yeah, but like I can't like, if it wasn't this project that actually means something to me and is valuable to me and eternally minded, like I care about Jesus and salvation and God and all that stuff way more than anything else. And so because I'm working on something that sort of relates to that, like I'm inspired and stuff. But like if I were to like be sitting in some random company's office and they're like showing me their company website and I had to somehow like get back into that game where I actually gave a rip about marketing and you know, A/B testing and all this garbage, like I couldn't do it. There's no way. Like I would be instantly triggered like I was before, to the point where I'd just want to throw my monitor through the window or something. So I don't think I'm really like cured universally to the point where I could get back into it, nor do I want to get back into it. And to be honest, I kind of feel blessed that I'm not in it. Like the way things are going, I actually kind of feel sorry, or a little bit, not fearful, but kind of concerned for people that are in tech industry, because the way the AI is going and all that stuff, I think I've mentioned this before on stream, but I think only the best of the best developers are going to keep their jobs over the next 5 years or so, because so many people are going to be replaced by AI. It's already happening. Like I watched so many videos on this topic where the industry is changing already. Like graphic design is no longer in demand. For example, because of, you know, how easy it is to make images and designs with AI, and so it's really hard to make it as a graphic designer. And pretty soon, I think web design and development, it's not going to go away, but it's going to be very competitive, because only people that are better than what you can get out of a text prompt on an AI are going to be the ones that keep their jobs. Everyone else, like me, I wouldn't make the cut. No way. Like, my skill level isn't high enough to stay in the industry. So like I actually kind of feel blessed, even though I didn't at all enjoy the burnout and what I've gone through over the last 10 years. It's been kind of crap. But at the same time, like if I had to try to thrive in an industry that's overrun with AI and stuff, I think I'd be so depressed and full of anxiety every day. I would just be looking over my shoulder wondering, like, is my boss gonna fire me today? Like, I gotta pretend I know what I'm doing today, like, because I don't, you know. I just, yeah, that feeling of dread, I don't think I can handle it. Anyway. Oh, let's see. Guess I fixed that scroll issue. Kind of like, it's probably getting pretty late to the point where I won't be up much later, but I got some CSS stuff done, but I sure didn't get a lot of. I guess another CSS thing I'm seeing is that this logo is way over to the left compared to the rest of the layout. Could think about fixing that. I guess I'm not in the mood to write JavaScript today. I thought I was going to be fixing Actually, what I wanted to do is on the audio player, I wanted to fix it so that it
John chapter 2.
scrolls to the next column.
On the third day,
When it gets to the bottom of the first column, I wanted to fix that, but I think I'm just not in the right frame of mind today to do that. So maybe I'll just do a couple more layout fixes and call it good. Good, you're achieving your current purpose. Good feeling, and I know it is. I felt pretty encouraged the last month, and actually, all of this has been very intentional. I'm a very intentional human being, like to the ridiculous level. So all of this is somewhat of a design, because I'm living off my parents, which sucks. It's very depressing. I haven't been able to get work for a couple of years now. Sent out hundreds of resumes. That's maybe an exaggeration. 110, 120, something. Can't get any work. Living off my parents, which sucks. Kind of similar to Solid, you know? Not that much different, really. Except that he's not living off his parents, but he's in a kind of a hard spot, you know? And so I'm trying to start a business and stuff, but my main barrier has been the marketing and the website stuff because of my extreme burnout. Just to show you how bad it is, like for the last 6 years, that's a long time. Think about 6 years, what you were doing 6 years ago. For the last 4 to 6 years, I haven't been able to touch web design at all. So extreme that when I like sit down and look at WordPress or whatever, I can't think of what to do. Like I can't even move. Like my hands don't click on anything. My brain is blank. And so for the last 6 years, I've been needing to make a website for my parents. And now that I'm trying to start a small business, I need to make a website for myself. And even though like I'm the sole benefactor and the sole dictator of what that website should look like, and I'm the only one that's calling the shots. I'm not like talking to some other manager or owner that I have to appease. It's all internal, all in my stuff. I still can't do it because of how burnt out I've been and how blank my brain is and stuff. And so part of the reason I was excited about this project when I took it on is I thought maybe if I get back into something that I'm able to do, which this project, like I said earlier, God seems to be helping me with somehow. I can't explain it, but I believe that. I really believe that. I thought, well, if I keep doing this long enough, maybe I'll get enough momentum to overcome the barrier for the business website that I need to do. And it's kind of working. Like I actually was able to open, hey Melly, yep, that's my name. I was able to get some stuff done last week in WordPress, which was, I know that sounds really basic, but I had been trying for years to get motivated and like break through my burnout and my shame and my whatever you want to call it, my just barriers, mental barriers, and I couldn't do it. So this project's been kind of a blessing in that sense that like over the last couple weeks I've been doing stuff that I couldn't do for years. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of my story. Yeah, I'm hoping this time period will end soon because it's been really rough. It's not for lack of trying either. Like I said, I've sent out over 100 resumes, and what I came to the conclusion is, and this is really stupid, but there's two things that are really against me. These days, I'm pretty sure that most employers are using some kind of filters that just automatically delete resumes because they have so many candidates that they can be as picky as they want. They either say something like, gotta have a master's degree or gotta have a a bachelor's degree or whatever. And it's literally not because they care about that. It's more just, it's easier for them to set filters and not have to deal with a batch of, like, let's say if you had that job as an HR person and you had a way to narrow down the search, doesn't matter what the method is, but you have a way to go from having 200 pieces of paper on your desk to having 5. Everybody would choose that option. It doesn't matter if it's fair. It doesn't matter if it's honest. None of that ethics matter. It doesn't matter if it destroys lives. Like, there's people that need the job and they can't get it if you throw their resume away. None of that matters. What matters is they want their job to be easier. So if they have a program that can automatically filter out 300 resumes down to 5 so they save a bunch of time, their boss is going to give them a reward. They're going to say, wow, you saved a bunch of time. Good job. And it doesn't matter. Who cares if there's 300 people who are desperate and hungry and they could do the job just fine. It doesn't matter. What matters is they save time. They got a kudos from their boss, and they found the person they were looking for the job. So people like me are just, thrown out in the garbage because I don't have any degrees. I don't have certain experience they're looking for. Or I think these days they're literally using like AI filters. So the AI literally looks at your document and it's looking for certain patterns and buzzwords. And if it doesn't see what it's looking for, it just deletes and moves on to the next, So unless you're a master of knowing what the AI algorithms are, just like search engine SEO optimization, unless you know that stuff, like how to write a resume that defeats the algorithm, then I think you're just getting thrown in the trash. Plus the second thing I have going against me is that I don't have like a real employer for the last 6 years. Like, I worked with my dad for 4 years, but he's self-employed, and that's kind of like hard to verify and looks kind of weird, And then the last couple of years I've had a couple short jobs, but like nothing that I want to put on my resume. So, and I actually went to two like employment agencies. One of them literally said they wouldn't talk to me because I hadn't worked in the last 6 months. So a place that is supposed to get you jobs won't get you a job because you haven't had a job in a certain amount of time. So it's like, once I realized that, I was realizing, oh, that's why nobody's responding to my resume. So yeah, I could lie. I could put fake stuff on there and say, oh yeah, last week I was working at this office or some stupid thing. I refuse to be dishonest in any sense of the matter. So I'm not going to lie about anything. And I think that's why nobody's like responding to my resumes, is because of, whatever filter criteria, AI junk they're using, and the fact that I haven't been working recently. So the thing is, even stores don't talk to you anymore. Like, you go in there and say, hey, can I talk to the manager? I'm looking for a job. I've actually done that a bunch of times, and they all say, oh, go to our website. And so basically they're sending you to their automated filter system instead of being able to talk to a human being and telling them your story and having a conversation, face to face. You're forced to go through their system, and then it's hopeless at that point because you get filtered out. And since I moved from another area too, like all my jobs were in a different area when I moved out here, so it doesn't even it probably looks fake to them. Like, when I send my resume and I have all these jobs like, hundreds of miles away, they probably think like, why is this guy trying to get work here? This is probably a fake, scam resume or something. I don't know. And since I don't have a way to like talk to anybody to tell them my story, like, I would just say, hey, I'm new to the area, I'm excited to work here, blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't get that chance because everything's computerized now. They wonder why it's fake it till you make it applicants. Yeah, it's just dumb. Anyway, I'm done with that. I'm not even sending out resumes at this point. I'm trying to get the small business started with my parents' help. And I just need to break through the barrier of getting the website set up and all that junk. So, anyway, I think I'm probably going to end the stream though. Like, I've enjoyed the conversation. Don't feel like it distracted me or anything like that. Like, this is what live streaming and stuff is all about. And actually, I might do more of this stuff in the future. Like, I've been toying around with the idea of reading my old journals on stream. It'd be super boring, but I've been wondering if God wants me to review some of my past and unravel some of the things that I've been through. Just remember the blessings that He's, things that He's brought me through. And I thought some of that could be beneficial to others. So there's a chance I might do some of that on my stream. So all this like yibbity jabbity of personal stuff is not outside of my wheelhouse. It's actually kind of a strength of mine. So it's boring for most people, so nobody's going to watch it. But I just thought, sharing some of my story and some of my whatever stuff is it's good for me. It's useful for me, and it might bless somebody out there. Nobody's going to find my stream and watch it, but never know. I'm more interested in helping other people than myself, so if I'm able to bless somebody in some way, that's what gives me purpose and joy in life, is helping other people. So anyway, I think I'm going to head out. Thanks for hanging out, mate. Appreciate the conversation. And yeah, anybody that's lurking, I will see you all later.